Hello Dub Nation, it's always a thrill to connect with you, especially as we're about to reveal the latest news that could shape the fate of our beloved Golden State Warriors. But before we dive into this whirlwind of information, let me make a friendly request. Show us some love by clicking the like button to strengthen our bond, and hey, if you are not subscribed yet, join our channel for a thrilling and emotional journey. Don't forget to turn on notifications to stay ahead of the game.
Jonathan Kuminga opens up about his goals and future. I just want the opportunity to show what I can do. As the off-season heats up, it's becoming increasingly likely that Jonathan Kuminga's time with the Golden State Warriors is coming to an end, and he seems more than ready to embrace whatever comes next. Through the first 34 games of last season, Kuminga averaged an impressive 16.8 points and 5 rebounds per game. But an ankle injury sidelined him for 31 games, and when he returned, his role was significantly reduced. After not securing a contract extension last summer, openly voicing frustration with his inconsistent playing time, and now with Jimmy Butler reportedly on the Warriors' radar, it seems a trade may be inevitable for the former No. 7 overall pick. And Kuminga? He's not running from change. In fact, he sounds excited about what's to come. A player with big dreams. Speaking with The Athletic, Kuminga laid out his ambitions without hesitation. My goal is to be a multi-time All-Star. I want to be great. Now heading into his 5th NBA season, Kuminga has quietly become one of the league's most intriguing young talents. Despite last season being interrupted by injury, he's shown growth on both ends of the floor and believes he's only scratched the surface of his potential. But despite his progress, Kuminga watched his 2021 draft classmate Moses Moody secure a 3-year deal with Golden State, while he himself was juggled between the starting lineup and the bench, a back and forth that left him visibly frustrated. I know what I can bring. For Kuminga, the most frustrating part isn't just the lack of minutes, it's the lack of a real chance. Whether it's with the Warriors or somewhere else, I just want the opportunity, he said. I want to see what I'm capable of. I know I have what it takes. I just haven't really had the chance to show it yet. He was benched during the Warriors' final must-win regular season game, and didn't play in their play-in matchup against Memphis, either. Despite being one of the team's best regular season performers, he appeared in only 8 postseason games. That kind of inconsistency, especially for a young player hungry to prove himself, takes a toll. What comes next? Kuminga hasn't publicly named preferred destinations, but reading between the lines, his message is clear. He wants to be somewhere he's valued, somewhere he can grow. Teams like the Heat, Nets, Bucks, and Suns have all been linked to him in recent months. But more than the market, Kuminga cares about the role. I just want a consistent role, he said, because I know what I bring to the table. I know how much I've put into this. I love this game. I'm all in. He's not looking for special treatment. Just a team that believes in him, gives him real minutes, and lets him grow into the player he knows he can become. The better I get, wherever that opportunity comes, it'll show, he said with confidence. In an era where many rising stars demand the spotlight, Kuminga is simply asking for something more grounded, respect, clarity, and a real shot. And honestly, that's not too much to ask. A shift that's been brewing. Kuminga's potential departure from Golden State isn't just a headline, it's a turning point. For the Warriors, it marks the possible end of an era defined by juggling veteran stars with rising talent. For Kuminga, it's about stepping out of the shadow of a dynasty and stepping fully into his own. Internally, sources have indicated that Golden State is actively listening to offers, and multiple teams have reached out. The front office understands Kuminga's value. He's just 22, athletic, improving every season, and carries a team-friendly contract. But they also know they can't keep everyone happy while chasing another title in the final years of Stephen Curry's prime. That tension, between developing youth and staying competitive, has been a constant challenge for the Warriors. Kuminga, James Wiseman, Moses Moody, all have been caught in that balancing act. But with Wiseman gone and Moody's role more defined, Kuminga appears next in line to be moved. Around the league, what teams are saying? Several teams have reportedly shown strong interest in Kuminga, especially those looking for young forwards who can grow into centerpiece roles. The Miami Heat, always hungry for two-way wings who can fit into Eric Spoelstra's system, are rumored to be high on him. The Brooklyn Nets, in full rebuild mode, see Kuminga as a potential foundational piece. Meanwhile, contenders like the Milwaukee Bucks and Phoenix Suns are intrigued by his upside and are exploring sign-and-trade possibilities that could benefit both sides. Executives around the league recognize what Golden State might be undervaluing. Kuminga is far from a finished product, but his ceiling is undeniably high. With the right development environment and consistent minutes, he could become a force on both ends of the court. Fan and analyst reactions. A divided response. Among Warriors fans, the potential loss of Kuminga has sparked mixed emotions. Some understand the team's win-now urgency and see value in using Kuminga as a trade asset. But others are frustrated, worried the franchise might be repeating a pattern of giving up on young talent too soon. If Kuminga becomes a star somewhere else, it's going to haunt us, one fan wrote on social media. He's exactly the kind of player we'll wish we had once this core retires, echoed another. NBA analysts have also weighed in. ESPN's Zach Lowe called Kuminga one of the most intriguing young wings in the league, and noted that he's the kind of player who could explode with a change of scenery. What the future could look like. Wherever Kuminga lands, one thing is certain, he's ready. He's not afraid to speak honestly about his journey, and he's not waiting around for permission to want more. The next chapter of his career, whether it's in Miami, Brooklyn, Milwaukee, or another yet unknown city, could finally give him what Golden State couldn't, the chance to play without limits. As Kuminga himself said, "I just want to grow. I want to compete. I want to become everything I know I can be." And with his talent, drive, and hunger, it's hard to imagine anything stopping him, as long as someone gives him the keys. Draymond Green gets candid about Jordan Poole's trade to the Pelicans. "I think this is what he needed." Draymond Green isn't one to shy away from speaking his mind, especially when it comes to former teammates. Jordan Poole, once part of the Warriors' 2022 championship squad, is now heading to the New Orleans Pelicans. The trade marks another chapter in a career that's seen high highs, deep lows, and more than a few headlines, especially after that infamous training camp punch from Green himself that many believe fractured the Warriors' locker room and championship chemistry. Since then, Poole was sent to the Washington Wizards, where he struggled to find consistency on a rebuilding team. Now, with his move to New Orleans, Green is surprisingly optimistic about what's next, not just for Poole, but for everyone involved. This trade makes sense, for everyone. Speaking on his podcast, The Draymond Green Show, the veteran forward gave a genuine take on Poole's move to New Orleans, and even gave him some props. "I actually like this trade for the Pelicans," Green said. "You bring in a guy like Jordan, who's still got so much untapped potential. CJ McCollum is solid, he is who he is, but Jordan still has room to grow. I don't think we've seen his best yet." Coming from Green, this isn't just commentary, it's a kind of peace offering. Their personal history is complicated, but in that moment, Green seemed more focused on Poole's future than their past. A fresh start in the right place. Green also praised the Pelicans' organizational structure, pointing to leadership and coaching that could help Poole thrive. In a place like New Orleans, with Willie Green coaching, with Joe Dumars involved behind the scenes, that could be exactly what Jordan needs right now, he said. And let's be honest, getting out of Washington is going to be good for him. While Poole had decent numbers last season with the Wizards, Green argued that empty stats on a losing team don't carry the same weight, and don't do much to move a player's career forward. In Washington, yeah, he put up some numbers. But when you're on a team like that, it doesn't really matter, Green said. You're not developing winning habits. You're not being challenged the right way. New Orleans has talent, but still a hill to climb. Draymond also gave credit to the Pelicans' young core. With recent draft picks like Jeremiah Fears, Derek Queen, and last year's first-rounder Yves Missy, plus stars like Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson when healthy, Green sees real potential in the roster. "They've got a lot of talent, man," Green said. "They've been hit with injuries, but if they can stay healthy and actually come together, they could make some noise. You've got to keep an eye on them in the West now." Still, he acknowledged that the Western Conference isn't exactly forgiving. In the East, maybe they'd be locked into the playoffs. In the West, they've got work to do. But this gives them a real shot. More than a trade, a turning point. While it's easy to focus on the numbers or the names involved, Green made it clear this trade could be something bigger, a moment of reset for Poole, a chance for redemption, growth, and reinvention. And coming from someone who knows both the weight of expectations and the pressure of starting over, that endorsement means something. Sometimes you just need a different environment to get back to who you are, or become who you're supposed to be, Green said. "I think this is that moment for Jordan. A second chance to rewrite the narrative." For Jordan Poole, This move to New Orleans feels like more than just a trade, it feels like a lifeline. After his breakout role during the Warriors' 2022 championship run, many saw Poole as a rising star, flashy, fearless, and unafraid of the big moments. But after the altercation with Green and a rocky year in Washington, that image began to fade. The narrative shifted from next up to overpaid, inefficient, and inconsistent. This trade is a chance to change that, and prove that Poole still has what it takes to be a difference maker on a winning team. But the pressure is real. The Pelicans have expectations. They have a playoff-hungry fan base, a core built around Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram, and a front office that knows time is running out to prove this roster can work. Poole won't be walking into a rebuilding situation like he did in DC, he's walking into a locker room that expects results. Fitting in will be key. One of the biggest questions now, where does Poole fit in the system? Willie Green is a defensive-minded coach who values structure, ball movement, and efficiency, three things Poole hasn't always been known for. But if he can buy in, evolve his shot selection, and lean into becoming more of a playmaker than a volume scorer, this could be the perfect place for him to level up. Pelicans fans are cautiously optimistic. Social media reactions have been a mix of excitement and skepticism. Poole has talent, no doubt, but can he lock in and play smart basketball? We needed someone who can create their own shot. If he's focused, this could be a steal. The Pelicans gave up a seasoned leader in C.J. McCollum to make this move, a respected veteran who brought stability on and off the court. Replacing that presence won't be easy. But if Poole can bring youth, energy, and growth-minded humility to the table, it could turn out to be a calculated risk that pays off. For the Warriors, a window closing? Meanwhile, this move has ripple effects for Golden State too. Watching both Poole and McCollum leave their respective franchises raises another question. What's the Warriors' plan now? They've committed to extending their title window as long as Steph Curry is still playing at an elite level, but each season, that window feels narrower. After dealing Poole last year to make financial room and maintain locker room stability, the Warriors may be looking at another shakeup soon, with names like Andrew Wiggins and even Klay Thompson floating in trade rumors. The truth is, Golden State is no longer the unstoppable force it once was. And watching young players like Poole potentially thrive elsewhere might sting, especially if they're not developing similar talent internally. All eyes on what's next. For Poole, this is a moment of reinvention. For the Pelicans, it's a bet on upside over safety. And for the league, it's one more reminder that the NBA is as much about fit and timing as it is about talent. Draymond Green's comments might have surprised some people, but maybe they're a sign that even the league's fiercest competitors can see the bigger picture. As the 2025 season approaches, Poole won't just be fighting for minutes or stats. He'll be fighting to redefine his career, restore his name, and prove he's more than a headline. And if he's ready to meet that challenge head-on, New Orleans just might be the perfect place for his comeback story to begin. Mike Dunleavy Jr. highlights two Warriors second-rounders who exceeded expectations. You'd be lucky. Behind the star trio of Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, and Jimmy Butler, the Golden State Warriors are quietly getting more than expected from a few under-the-radar players, especially when it comes to late draft picks. With their 2025 first-round pick sent to the Miami Heat as part of the trade that brought Butler to the Bay, the Warriors will be making their selection at no. 41, unless they move up or down on draft night. And while it's no secret that second-round gems are rare, history has shown they're out there. Just ask Nikola Jokic or Manu Ginobili. For every success story like those, however, there are dozens of second-rounders who barely make it out of training camp. Still, Golden State has a history of finding value where others don't look, and they may have done it again in recent seasons. Dunleavy Jr. shouts out Jackson Davis and Post. In a recent media appearance, Warriors GM Mike Dunleavy Jr. gave credit where it's due to second-round big men Tracy Jackson Davis and Quinton Post, both of whom played meaningful roles for the team this season. Although Jackson Davis was technically drafted 57th overall by the Wizards in 2023, he's only ever suited up for Golden State. Post, meanwhile, was selected 52nd overall by the Warriors in the 2024 draft. These last couple of years, we've been fortunate, Dunleavy said. Between QP and Tracy, we've had guys come in and contribute right away. You'd be lucky to get that from a second-round pick. While Dunleavy was careful not to oversell expectations for pick no. 41 this year, he emphasized that the team is committed to doing its homework. You've got to stay realistic about what that part of the draft usually yields, he added. But we'll dive in, scout thoroughly, and try to find the best possible player, someone who can help this franchise in a real way. Finding value where others don't look. It wouldn't be the first time the Warriors pulled a surprise from deep in the draft. Draymond Green, the heart and soul of the team's dynasty, was picked 35th overall back in 2012. Klay Thompson, Jordan Poole, Kevin Looney, and more recently, Brandon Podziemski, all came into the league with question marks, and all found ways to impact winning in Golden State's system. Yes, the team famously missed with James Wiseman at No. 2 in 2020, but that's the exception, not the rule. When it comes to identifying undervalued talent, the Warriors have been ahead of the curve more often than not. What's next at pick 41? In our full mock draft, the Warriors are projected to select Chaz Lanier, a 5-year college player out of Tennessee who's seen as NBA-ready and capable of contributing immediately. That kind of maturity and readiness could be exactly what Golden State needs, especially with a roster built to win now. With Curry still elite, Butler newly arrived, and Green anchoring the defense, the front office knows the clock is ticking. They'll need players who can plug in and produce, not just prospects with theoretical upside. And luckily for them, the 2025 class is shaping up to be one of the deepest in recent memory. There's genuine optimism in the building that even at No. 41, a difference maker could still be waiting. A franchise that believes in long shots. If there's one thing we've learned about the Warriors, it's that they don't always follow the script. This is an organization that thrives on belief in its culture, its development program, and its ability to see something in a player that others miss. So yes, a late second-round pick might not get the headlines. But as Dunleavy and the Warriors have proven time and again, that's exactly where they've found some of their most meaningful pieces. And come draft night, don't be surprised if they do it again. Scouting the future, what the Warriors are really looking for. While much of the attention has naturally been on the top of the draft, Golden State's approach to the No. 41 pick, and their overall draft strategy, speaks volumes about the direction of the franchise. According to team sources, the Warriors are specifically targeting mature, high IQ prospects who can slide into a structured system and contribute in specific roles, rather than raw, long-term projects. That's what made players like Quinton Post and Tracy Jackson-Davis so valuable. They weren't just second-round steals, they were ready. Jackson-Davis brought toughness, mobility, and an underrated passing ability. Post, on the other hand, impressed the coaching staff with his floor spacing, rim protection, and professional mindset. Both players gave Steve Kerr something every coach craves: trust in the second unit. "We don't have time to wait 3 years to see if someone might develop," said one team insider. "This core is still about competing now. So the player we take at 41 has to be ready to contribute in year 1, even in a limited role." The Jimmy Butler factor. The blockbuster addition of Jimmy Butler has also shifted the front office's calculus. With Butler in the mix, alongside Curry and Green, the window to chase another championship is open, if not wide, at least cracked. That means every roster spot matters. And that's where the draft becomes less about finding the next superstar, and more about finding the right fit. A second-rounder who can stretch the floor, defend without fouling, or simply bring high-effort energy off the bench could become a critical piece in tight playoff moments. Golden State is also aware of its cap limitations. With 3 max-level contracts on the books and the luxury tax breathing down their necks, affordable, controllable contracts, like those of second-round picks, are incredibly valuable. Hitting on a player at No. 41 could be the difference between depth and dead weight. Fan base watching closely. Warriors fans have become some of the most draft-savvy in the league. They've seen the franchise turn underdog prospects into household names, and also watched the highly touted James Wiseman experiment fall apart. Now, with the roster in transition, there's a palpable hunger for the front office to get it right. Social media chatter already includes speculation about players like Kansas forward KJ Adams Jr., European guard Juan Nunez, and Michigan State's Tyson Walker, all experienced, versatile options who could be available in the mid to late second round. There's also increasing interest in international prospects, with the Warriors reportedly doing deeper scouting in Spain, France, and Serbia this year. Given their recent success with hybrid forwards and stretch bigs, it wouldn't be surprising to see them take a swing on a less familiar name with clear developmental upside. A defining draft, even without a first-round pick. Ultimately, this draft could quietly become a defining moment for GM Mike Dunleavy Jr. It's his second year fully in charge, And this offseason marks the first time he's truly reshaping the roster around a new timeline, post-Jordan Poole, post-Wiseman, and now with Jimmy Butler in tow. Every team says they value the draft, Dunleavy said. But for us, it's not just talk. Our franchise was built on finding guys who weren't supposed to be stars, and giving them the platform to prove everyone wrong. That's a message not just for the player they'll select at No. 41, but for the league as a whole. Because if history has taught us anything, it's this: the Warriors may not always pick early, but they rarely pick wrong.